What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Ali Medel with another installment of the ME Show, and I got a guest in the building that I'm super excited about. He goes by Jacob, but you're gonna be hearing a different name today. Jacob and I have met because we actually have our businesses and workplaces right next to one another. You go every now and then. It starts with a hello. It starts to how you doing, and then ultimately, I'm going to a Bible study, and he ends up showing up, and I'm like, we had that one moment, and I got to hear his story in a very intimate setting. He got to hear my story or part of it in an intimate setting, and he just went through his confirmation. So congratulations to him on that. Show some love on those comments wherever you may be. Be nice. I see you, that one knucklehead that always says something negative. But I thought it was fascinating to kind of bring both stories together and the similarities that our lives have, regardless to how far apart we have been. I was born and raised in Morocco, Northwest Africa. He was born here in the United States, and has a lifelong of experience. And he's going to school, doing some amazing things. But we wanted to get his story and give you some context of how God is amazing in so many ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, up one time to the man, the myth, the legend, Jacob. And by the way, make sure you follow him on all the socials that are on the description. So first and foremost, appreciate you coming through. Yeah, we've been talking about doing something together, and here we are. So for those who might not know the background, the story, if you will, tell us a little bit about you and how you grew up and how it all kind of began to morph into the man that you've become today.
Oh man,
I know we could be like an hour and a half in here. Give me the scoop.
So originally, I was born and raised in Long Branch. Born in
LB.
1990. Parents were young. Dad was 18. Mother was 19. Just growing up, well, I wouldn't say crazy difficult times. My father and mother always did what they needed to do to put food on the table, but definitely you had nights of struggle.
It wasn't the spoiled lifestyle, if you
Yeah,
will.
no,
Yeah.
definitely had some times lights were cut off, gas was cut off, had to heat the house up with the oven. But it kind of forms you and molds you into the person that you are.
Yep.
You get more grateful for things that you have in life, and that's just a main thing. My father always did what he needed to do, no matter what, to make sure that we had food on the
Mhm.
table. My mother, same thing. She worked 2 jobs. But when I was young, man, my mother was a bartender. My dad did what he did on the side. But like I said, he provided. And then I have siblings. I got my little sister. She's 3.5 years younger than
You're the
me.
oldest, right?
I am the oldest.
Nice.
She's 3.5 years younger than me. My little brother, 11 years younger than me. So big difference, big age gap there.
No wonder you, as young as you are, you're 28, so you're still young. You have this aura of like the provider and the man of the house already, and I don't know how you feel about that, but was that always there, or did you kind of have to step in at some point and become that identity?
Um, yes and no. I would say yes and no. I mean, my father was a little bit of a knucklehead when I was younger. Uh, he did a couple of stints, but other than that, I had to step up a little bit, help with the house, help with my little siblings whenever I could. Not really much of a go out, run around the kind of neighborhood, make sure I stayed home, make sure to take care of my siblings.
Yeah.
Like I said, parents had to work, they had to do what they had to do, and I just made sure that my siblings were good all the
Yeah.
time, no matter what I had to do, no matter what. I always made sure my siblings were good. And through the journey, you know, I morphed into an adult at a lot younger of an age than most
Than most
people.
people,
You
yeah.
know, being more mature than a lot of people, but still immature as well.
I think it's that battle of the identity. Like, I'm a grown man, but at the same exact time, I want to have my fun and
Exactly.
experiment life, if you will. And I feel like that sometimes gets this gray area of like, is this okay or is this not? Until sometimes it's too late that we realize I just got myself in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I ran in, had a couple gray areas, but like I said, man, by the grace of God, everything works out good, man. It all comes down to the grace of God,
So
man.
let me I gotta dive into that one. So I've heard some stories about your environment growing up. Was God a conversation growing up? Was it a religious household? Was it a spiritual household? Or was it like, man, get that stuff out of my house?
It's more or less a man, get that stuff out of my
Yeah.
house, man. And it's wild because, like I said, so my father, yeah, someone of belief, not really someone that will bring it into the
That's
household.
what you call it, the cultural believer, right? Like,
Yeah,
we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Easter, but that's about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really about it.
yeah.
That's all it takes. My mother, however, she grew up in a Catholic household, and she went to Catholic school, did all her sacraments and stuff like that, and they kind of tussled and turned with what they were going to do in the household. Ultimately, it was like just everyone else's choice. So kind of went to church, kind of on and off. Like I said, I started probably in my teenage years. I started drifting away and started getting into a lot of trouble that I shouldn't have gotten into, and forced basically my father's hand. And we ended up moving to Ocean Township, keep me away from things. And ever since then, still was acting out, stuff like that, still acting out because I want to be back in my old town. I want to be back with my old friends, even though it's like 15 minutes away. But you're talking about 15 minutes and you don't got no car. You don't got to walk everywhere. That's like an hour walk. Feels like it's forever.
No, I get it. So this is what I was talking about the similarities. So I grew up in Morocco, and the walk from home, when he was home, to school was about 15 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
each way. And that there's a lot that can happen as a young kid, between 7 to 13 years old. You know how much trouble you can get into in the streets, or you can get yourself hurt, or God knows what. So I totally get that.
Oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
trust me. I remember being a little knucklehead. Like I said, I remember this one time I was probably like 7 years old.
Were you the kid that looked for trouble, or trouble found you?
Mix of both.
I need stories. Give me the goods.
So it's funny, man. Like I said, like 7 year olds, you don't realize the things that you think are fun really are destructive. So like I remember being a kid running around, we're throwing rocks at cars, like not even caring, just thinking it's funny. You hit the car and it goes by, and then you're like not realizing the damage. And then now that I'm older, I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, someone threw something at my car. Like I'd be very upset. You know, I remember one time we threw this giant rock and it really dented the car. The car stopped and we all ran. We didn't know what to do. It was like four of us. We all ran all separate ways, and ended up backtracking. It was basically someone that my dad
Oh,
knew.
like, one thing getting caught is one thing, but getting caught and your dad is the one who's gonna be the judge of the circumstance.
Mhm.
Woo! Yeah.
So my dad took care of it, paid for it and stuff like that. And he was like, just don't do anything. Don't press anything. We'll leave it at that. So he kept me out of a lot of trouble, my father, and all respect to
Was
him
he
for that.
big time disciplinary?
Oh yeah,
Heavy
absolutely.
hand?
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
yeah.
that's my pops. Yeah, my pops was, bro, whatever was around will be utilized as a disciplinary tool.
Oh yeah.
And look, we grew up, I think, in a different generation. I I don't condone any of it. As a matter of fact, I still hate that I used to be hit all the time. But I think some parts of it, like, it's like Tony Robbins always says, if you're gonna blame your father, then blame him for all the good that he's done for
Oh,
you as well, right?
absolutely.
So I used to always get angry and blame my father. I'm like, he used to beat me up and blah blah blah, blah, all these different things. But I look back on my life where it is right now, it would not be in the way it is. I wouldn't be the father that I am if it wasn't for my father. And I don't hate my kids, definitely don't, but I see a lot of the disciplinary things that I have, and why the world is like, "Oh my god, your kids, they're so perfect. They're so this." That was my father's teaching that I implemented without the hating part. So I gotta give kudos to who I am, and I'm pretty sure you feel the same exact way with all the things that were passed on, including the discipline.
And not only that, the ultimate goal when you have kids, I don't have any kids, but I feel like I do. So
Well, you stepped into that
yeah,
role.
we'll get on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
The ultimate thing is we learn as we grow. And that's the whole goal is you want to learn. And you see your father's imperfection, but you also see what he's done for you.
Mhm.
So you kind of bend the line. So you create your own path. And you're like, all right, well, this worked. This didn't really work. So then you just go off that line. And like I said, the ultimate goal is to be better. And when you sit there, now that I'm older, when you sit there and you look back on it, you see your father's actions, you got to realize the actions that came from his father.
Mhm.
And it's all passed down,
Yeah, I
learn,
think so. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And with my father, his father was out of the picture. He really he had a stepfather, but his actual father was out of the picture. He was gone, you know, and he didn't find him until I want to say maybe after I was born is when he
See,
really.
that's a lifetime of a separation, and that could be traumatic as well. My It's interesting for me. So, born and raised, I had, and so Baba and Mama in Morocco is dad and mom,
Mm,
and then in 1996, beef and issues starts to happen. My dad bails, and then it became just Mama, single mom of 4 children. Then mom comes to the United States in 1998, and then it becomes Baba and Walida, which is stepmom. And mm, a lot has happened in between 1998 to 2002, but we came back to the States in 2002. And then it became Mama and Dad, which is my stepdad. And then the once upon a time young kid, child, the trauma starts coming back and the anger starts to kick in. And then, bruh, I think I didn't really have a relationship with my father for a good 7 years. Like, just, and that makes a big dent on who you are. And, thank God, by the way, he's in the United States. My stepmom is in the United States. My father, my mother, my stepmom, my dad, on every holiday, they are across the table. They're celebrating with all children. I don't like the word step. I have,
mm.
2 sisters from my walida. And, it's crazy when you are separated from your flesh. And man, now I feel like I'm doing a sermon right now. Just think about it, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
when we're separated from our spiritual father, it's like you feel sad and miserable and problems that are happening in your life and whatnot. And it's the same exact thing. So I could only imagine your father not having his dad for 20 years, or however long it was. That's insane. Did you see a difference in him after he reconnected with his father?
No,
Or was it more of like,
it was
F you, I'm pissed off, why you back?
well, no. So it was actually more or less that he went out seeking for his father. It
Oh
wasn't
wow.
he was looking for it,
Oh
you
wow.
know, and he found, and then come to find out that he had other siblings that he didn't know about and stuff like that, and it creates the turmoil of when you're an older and now you're processing stuff. It's like, well, why didn't he want me but wanted them?
Yeah.
But like I said, who knows, And you look on these things and you can kind of see the trauma unfolding. And my father raised me with discipline, but he also raised me as like I was more of a friend to him. Like I remember being young, but I was out with the boys, you know, 9 years old. I'm at the card game with all the fellas, learning cards and stuff like that. Playing dominoes up till 2 in the morning. Like I'm
Mm.
one of the guys. You know, Still one of the best domino players I've ever seen in my life is my father. I never seen anything like it. Everyone's got five dominoes in his hand. He's like, "Oh, you got this, you got this, you got this," and then I'm gonna play this,
And
and
then
then
it
and then
happens.
it happens. It's like you're looking at the dominoes like these things are marked. There's no way you knew that.
Yeah.
How? And for years, I never understood. But it's all being smart and counting
Mhm.
and figuring out people's tells and knowing what they're gonna do in life. And he's given me many lessons. And I remember 11 years, 12 years old, maybe he gave me the gift of riding dirt bikes and quads and stuff, man. And that right there changed my life. I broke my hip when I think I want to say 9 years old. 9 years old, I broke my hip, and this was before learning anything like
Yeah.
that. And I went through two surgeries. The one surgery I went through, I had a screw in my hip.
This is because of the quads?
No,
Oh,
this is
this is
this is
okay, got it,
before
got it,
then.
got it, got
This
it.
is even
Okay.
before then.
Okay.
Um, and basically, I fell off a half pipe, 15 feet, and I landed
Mm.
right on the side. And what they call is the ice cream cone is what they call it. So you got your hip, and then you got the ball that's a socket
Mhm.
like this.
Mhm.
And when I fell, the ball went like that.
Mm.
It's gone. So I tried to stand up, fell. Tried to stand up again, fell again. And it's funny. Looking back on that, it's funny because we were at a family barbecue and we were next door, right? So we go over, we're sitting there. I sat there for 5 hours at that family barbecue with my broken hip
Oh my God.
because everybody was sitting there partying, having a good time.
And you didn't
I
want to
was
miss
sitting
out.
there. Yeah, essentially, yeah. I was just sitting there with the broken hip. And then 5 hours later, we're sitting there. It's getting dark out. It's happened like 2 o'clock in the middle of the summer, you know? It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Everyone's dying down. I'm like, hey, I think this leg is broken. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, this leg is broken. We go over to Bayshore. Terrible. I tell them that my left hip is injured. They bring me out a wheelchair with only the right leg. So now I don't even have the right leg. So I have to put my hip across to the other side.
Make things a little bit worse than whatever
Uh-huh.
it is. Yeah.
So we go in there, go into the room. They give me the X-ray or whatever. Someone put the bed behind the door. Doctor comes in, pushes the door. Bed comes flying, smacks into the table that I'm on. Like, oh, this day,
One of those days, huh?
this day is terrible. Man. Terrible. And we go transfer to Monmouth Medical. I go through the surgery. I get a screw put in my hip. I go back 2 weeks later. Doctor's like, "You've been walking." No, I haven't been walking. He's like, "No, you absolutely been walking." No, no way. He pulls up my X-ray from when he finished the surgery and that day,
Mm-hmm.
and my screw unscrewed like a millimeter, 2 millimeters.
So fun facts, ladies and gentlemen. This gentleman and I are both screwed. So I have screws in my wrist. Fell in basketball, and just like you. So when you get such a surgery, you're told for the next 8 months, do not take out the cast. Do not, like, they give you specific instructions. You cannot mess with this thing. And then once it's done, you got to go to therapy and yada 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 yada. So just like you, this is literally like maybe a week after surgery, I figured out how to take off my cast.
Ooh, there we go.
And then I'm showering. I'm like, I'm not gonna get that stinky stuff, And then I will literally clean the inside of the cast with like a paper towel, and then I slide it right back in. And then I'm like, okay, let's go. And just so you know, this hand goes up and down. This is as much as it goes. So I'm literally screwed for life.
At ME Studios, we don't just create campaigns, we build brands. Our mission is to transform your ideas into a compelling experience that resonates with your audience and elevates your brand identity. Hey there! Ever dreamt of launching your own branding campaign, but overwhelmed by all the moving parts? From concept to execution, the process can seem daunting. But don't worry, we've got you covered. Look no further. Welcome to ME Studios, your one-stop shop for all things branding. Imagine this, a place where creativity meets technology, and your branding dreams come to life. We start with pre-production. Our expert team dives into creative concept meetings, curates top-tier guests, and even puts together stunning headshots. We help you shape your vision and plan every detail meticulously. We even throw in AI-powered commercials to give you that extra edge. These commercials are designed to seamlessly integrate with your content, making your campaign not just informative, but also commercially viable. Next up, production. Picture yourself in a state-of-the-art studio with professional lighting, high-quality mics, and an inspiring atmosphere. Our studios are equipped with the latest technology to ensure your sessions are smooth and productive. We create power-packed segments split into 3 engaging parts, 15 minutes each, designed to captivate your audience. Our team ensures that each segment is filled with valuable content and keeps your audience hooked. Now, let's talk post-production. Our team meticulously edits your content, adding branded intros and outros, custom music, and flawless transitions. We take care of all the technical details so you can focus on delivering your message. We make sure your message shines brighter than ever. Our goal is to enhance your voice and make your campaign stand out in a crowded market. Finally, it's time to launch. We distribute your polished campaign across all major platforms, ensuring your campaign reaches the widest possible audience. But that's not all. We create viral reels, issue a national press release, and ensure your campaign gets the attention it deserves. Our marketing strategies are designed to maximize your reach and engagement. At ME Studios, we bring your vision to life. Our dedicated team works tirelessly to ensure your campaign is a true reflection of your brand and resonates with your audience. Your campaign, your brand, done right. We take pride in delivering high-quality, professional campaigns that make a lasting impact. Ready to make your mark? Visit themestudios.net and book your launch today. Our team is excited to help you start your branding journey. Thanks for watching, and let's get your voice out there. Together, we can create something truly special.
Go on. Oh yeah, man. So he's like, you've been walking, so it unscrews. He's like, we're putting you back into surgery. I got something for you. Go into surgery. He puts a screw in. Not only does he put a bigger and longer screw through, he ties a washer and a bolt to it. So now this screw's not going anywhere. And back then, it's like, absolutely, this is not moving. He's like, you'll probably need a hip replacement in 30 years or whatever. All right, whatever. We'll take that when it comes. But I never got physical therapy either. So I walk with a little limp now. That's not,
People think it's a cool thing, but it's the screw.
it's the screw. Screw in my hip.
I know, dude. It's funny how me and you did the same exact stuff.
Screw it, man.
Okay, so let's you lost your dad,
Yeah.
and I remember that's the first day me and you were in. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
You know, how when dad passed, whatever you can share about that experience, because I think if I were to connect the dots, that's where you stepped into who you've become today to your family.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Before all that even happens, I just want to share like how close me and my father were. So like we were on the same stunt team together. Like when I learned
Oh yeah, it was the quad. Yeah.
we were on the same stunt team, traveling all around the country, doing shows. Like I performed at the State Fair in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. I was there. Like I performed at Eagle Stadium at this huge bike fest. Won trophies. I have trophies in my
Wow.
house for these
Oh,
things.
so it wasn't just a recreational thing that you're doing. It was actually big time.
Yeah, man. I was one of the youngest people out there doing what I was doing at 11 years old.
With a screwed hip, might I add. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. And then so I was with like every day. And then he ends up going and he joins a bike club and stuff like that, getting back into riding, loving his riding and stuff. The day he passed away was actually 2 days before my birthday, which is July 21st, 2023.
I was born July 25th. Again, if you're wondering why did I have to have him on the studio, but go on.
So I remember this whole entire week, man. It was really crazy. So, like I said, my birthday's coming up. We're all joking around about the outfits that we're going to be wearing because we're going somewhere nice. And he was like, "Oh, you have no idea what outfit I'm going to wear. I'm going to be so clean," making all these jokes and stuff about how fly he's going to look. And gets a haircut and stuff like that. And then he was supposed to go on a motorcycle ride. This is the craziest part. He was supposed to go on a motorcycle ride. It's called a burn and turn. So he was going to go all the way to Florida and see a couple of his friends. No, not Florida. I apologize. South Carolina to see a couple of his friends. And he was going that Friday, and he was going to be back for my birthday on Sunday. Instead of going, he ends up getting a phone call from his work. And basically they asked if he could come in real quick, do a quick shift. And he was like, "Yeah, that's not a problem. I'm going to shoot down anyway to South Carolina, so I'll come in." So he ends up going to work, probably at work for like maybe an hour, not even. So his boss was in there. His boss was like, "Yo, you're good to go, man." He was like, "No, like I'll stay." He ends up having a heart attack at that job.
God. And his health had no signs of a potential heart attack.
So he ends up having a heart attack. And what's more crazy is that there was somebody out on the job. So my dad was heavy. He was probably like 380, 390.
I see.
And there was a little Spanish man, probably like 5'4", 5'3", and he was coming to collect the sealer. And he noticed that my dad was in the little, I guess, little trailer too long. So he goes in to check on him, and he found my father essentially hunched over. So he was like, "I don't know how I did it, but I got him out of the chair." He started doing compressions and stuff,
Sure.
and they called the ambulance. I got there from I was in Ocean. I got the phone call that my father is unconscious at work, and that was from my mother. My mother was like, "You don't have to go anywhere. Everyone's the boss is going over there. Everyone's going over there." And I was like, "No, like that's my father. Like I'm going over there right now." I didn't even. I just knew he worked in Wall, so I shoot over to Wall, and then I get the address. My mother texted me the address. I get the address. I get there a minute after the EMTs get there. That's how fast I'm flying there. Flying. I get there literally a minute after the EMTs, which I didn't even know until I got the report and tells you what everything that goes on. So when I get there, I see all the ambulance and stuff. I fly in like a madman, slam on the brakes. There's rocks everywhere. I'm sliding on the rocks and stuff. Sure. I get in there and I just see them working on my dad. And it was just like, you get that feeling like you just know, it's over. And everyone's sitting there. They're like, no, we're doing the best we can. And I remember being in there yelling, screaming. I remember punching things, and I just knew immediately like that my father was gone, man. And it sucked. Definitely did. And I remember my little brother, he wasn't even nobody really even knew what was going on. My little brother I left at his friend's house. I asked one of his friends to take his phone away so he couldn't be on anything. I didn't want him having any contact with anyone. And shout out to his friends for definitely looking out for me and looking out for him, because they kept him entertained that whole entire day while that thing happened. My father passed away at 4 o'clock. I wasn't able to break the news to my little brother until about maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock that night, after he was already gone. Everyone went and said their goodbyes at the hospital. I knew I couldn't bring him there.
Oh, I can only imagine.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's rough in life when you physically watch somebody go. You know, like I'm watching they're working on him. I'm watching them trying to find the pulse. And I can definitely say that the people that try to sit there and say that these people don't do enough, man, they worked on my father for 45 minutes, man. 45 minutes they tried. And some people might say that's not long enough, but that's a long time, man. Long time for just trying to get him back. And it broke me. And that whole week, I couldn't really speak. I was just, my fiance laughs about it because she was like, I sat there and I was just like, oh man. And that was the only thing I could say. I would sit there and I'd just be like, oh man. She'd be like, how are you doing? I'd be like, oh man. And that's all I could get. And then you really don't understand the meaning of saving too until somebody goes. Because when somebody goes so unexpected and you don't have any savings, to put somebody down, like to put somebody in for a burial situation is a lot of money. It's a lot of
Like
money.
$6,000 to $15,000.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot, especially around here, man. Around here, it's brutal. But we ended up doing it, whatever. So now I inherit the father figure role now, and now I have my brother and sister. I'm going through it. I'm going through my turmoil. I'm at my lowest of my lows, smoking them, drinking. I'm at the grave site, at middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like people sit there like, you're at a grave site at 1 o'clock in the morning, but it was just like I just wanted to feel like I was closer to my father, and I just knew that's where he was.
Yeah.
And you go through a lot, man. You go through a lot, but like I say, and I shared in the group, like we're essentially seeds, man. All the dirt that gets thrown on us is all the turmoil we go through, and then through that you sprout and you become the beautiful flower.
Yeah. Yeah, and you definitely done that. So since you transitioned to the group, how did you even come to the decision of I'm gonna go for, my confirmation and just the whole process as a whole?
So that came about through a couple different steps. So I was going through, like I said, I was going through my dark times. My fiance was there for me through everything, which she's my rock, man. Without her, I even gave her the out when my father passed. I said, listen, like, I might not be the same anymore. Like, if you want to bounce, like, I fully understand. Like, I understand, like, I'm not gonna be the same guy that
She
you
rock
do.
die. She's still on the side.
And yeah, she
Shout out,
she
what's her name?
stayed, Gabriella.
Gabriella.
And she
Shout out to you,
yeah.
Gabriella. You are the real one. You're the real MVP. I mean, for real, for real. My wife and I've been together since high school, so I love it when couples go through turmoil, issues, challenges, and they're like, "No, we good. We're gonna
Yeah.
make it. We're gonna make it." So shout out to you,
I've been with
Gabriella.
her since 2015.
Let's go. Yeah.
And what's even more fascinating is because, God works in mysterious ways, and it just so happens that she lost her father 2 days after her birthday. So talk about somebody who actually can physically
Understand
understand what I'm
you're
going through,
yeah.
losing a father and
And
losing
no
it so close to
and
my
no
birthday.
mistakes. Everything happened the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So I remember being with her side of the family is very more spiritual. They're very into their faith. And I remember having a conversation with one of her uncles who was very blunt. And he said, basically summarize it is, if you make it in, those who choose to believe make it into heaven. Those who don't. And when you make it into heaven, you won't have any recollection of anybody that's not there.
Remember you said that, and you don't want to forget.
And I don't want to forget
Yeah.
the people
People
that
that are in your life.
are in my life that are important.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. And my father was such an important figure in my life. And I went through so much grief to realize that if I ever want the chance to see him again,
This is the way.
this is the way.
Yeah.
This has to be the way.
Yeah.
This is the only answer.
You talk about that strong bond and strong love. I think last week, not this one, but the week before that, it hit me when what was it? The Holy Spirit is simply the love between God the Father and God the Son, and that actual love itself is what the Holy Spirit. So when you feel that strong, incredible, unconditional, amazing love, that's the Holy Spirit. Because we always look for, like, what's the Holy Spirit, like, what is this thing, so that was so to understand it the way you just broke it down, it comes back to that very same piece of, I love my father so much that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to accept this path, and I know through this path I'm gonna see my actual dad once again. And that's pretty amazing, man.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for that. How long was the process?
So then going from there, like I said, I only just came to terms with that probably in the past year of me being like, this is the way.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, God works in mysterious ways, and I got asked to be a godfather,
Yeah.
and that's a huge step. And to even become a godfather in the Catholic Church, you have to have all your sacraments.
No, right. Yeah.
So that was another main driver for it. And then as I'm in there and I'm learning and I'm learning and I'm being the student, I just start falling more and more in love with it. And just everything that it's in there, just the fact that nobody's too far from being saved, no matter how dark your past is, no matter how far in the hole you think you are, no matter how lost, if you don't even have the map, there's always a road back to God, no matter what. And that's why I took up the name that I took up, because his story, Augustine's story is he lost his mother, and he wrestled with all his sins repeatedly through his younger years, and through grief and everything, it led to him going to Christianity based and spreading the word. And that's how I feel. I feel that ever since my father passed and all the trials that I've been going through, it's all coming to realization that it's just leading me back to God. And even we could talk about Job's, about how he lost everything. He loses everything, but he still praises God. And that right there is powerful enough to believe anything, that no matter what, as long as you praise God.
We struggle and wrestle with that, and so many times things go wrong, and we're like, we look up immediately,
Yeah.
I certainly wrestled with that. I think I relate to Job a lot. I used to have a lot of, God, why me? Like, and when I look back, I'm grateful to God for everything that I've gone through because it taught me everything that I needed to learn for the next chapter of my life. And I think a lot of um, growing up and seeing what humility is like, seeing what work ethic, the two jobs, that in pain there is the fun that's gonna follow, right? Like with the hips story, grief and loss makes you a stronger individual. As much as Gabriella already knew, she went through it because you were next, and then just talk about God putting somebody next to you is like, I got you. Like that like there's no one better that could have been by your side than her. So I appreciate the struggle and the challenges that you got that had led you to where you are. Augustine, ladies and gentlemen, that's the name that he has picked in his confirmation, which is pretty awesome. You are going to school as well. I
Yeah,
know,
man.
I see you often, but what are you going to school for, and what's the next chapter?
So I'm in a double major. I do computer science and I do political science. I like really. It's a struggle, I will say, doing the double major. It's a lot, but I love learning. I love learning about a lot of things. I try to keep busy, you
Yeah.
know. So the computer science field is just something that I knew that I could make money doing. And you look, for my final project, I was building a website. I haven't hosted it yet, but I built essentially a website where it's more catered to veterans and more or less of their mental health.
Is the website live?
Not yet. I gotta
Okay.
do a couple things to it. I gotta work out a couple more bugs, but I was able to showcase it on my personal laptop. Like I can local host it. I should have brought it to show you. But essentially, I have a deep connection with when it comes to military and service because I really respect them and I really respect what they do for this country.
Mhm.
Because without them, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to have this
It's,
conversation.
see, and I appreciate that. I think that people in the country take this country for granted. I was, a kid that grew up in a third world country. I understand a little bit about struggle. I understand what it means to be chased by wild dogs while you're going to school. You wonder why people from Africa can run so fast and win every marathon. Wild dogs practice automatically everywhere. But the point that I'm trying to make is people take this country for granted. And yes, every country has its own complexities as much as the United States has its own. But life is good. Life is really good in here. I have yet to meet one person who lives in the United States and say, you know what, man, let's go move to Cuba. I think that's where the opportunities are.
But I think that's more of the privilege that people don't understand.
Yeah.
That you're able to sit here and you're able to be here and say these things, but you would never go back to these places. You would never you some people don't even want to go vacation in some places.
So I already know.
And it's just it's a brutal out there, man. It's brutal, honestly.
Well, thank God we have people like you that are not taking it for granted. I definitely want to do an episode 2 when the website is live, so we can make it about initiative because my brother served 3 terms in Afghanistan, and we have everybody in the family. My dad, did military. His father was military. I went and got recruited and about to sign, and my brother pulls me out. He's like, "You are not about to do this." And then 6 months later, he goes and without telling me, he enlists. Crazy, ain't it? And he told me, he would say, he's like, this is not. He's like, your battle is at home with your sisters and brothers. He's like that's. He's like, you're not built for it. Which I think he's right. I'm a softie. I'll fight.
Their mental health is so important to me.
Yeah.
So that's really what drove me to try to create this website. And it's basically a journal entry. It's basically an online journal, so they can journal their thoughts, what they have to say, and then there's a mood tracker on there, which they'll be able. I have like a set amount of moods that when you log in, you click. But with that, I also associate Bible verses with them as well. So if you're feeling sad, you click sad, then
It suggests.
it gives you a little passage from the Bible and it tells you exactly where it's from.
Nice.
And then I have little notes in there that kind of summarize it up, like how a study Bible would be.
Nice.
So trying to help
great.
people.
Yeah. Well, and again, definitely let me know when it's live. We actually have a client of ours that has 6 clinics on all things mental health all over the country. So
Really?
yeah, oh yeah,
That's awesome.
oh yeah, and they're always looking to expand, grow, connect with other parties and partners and whatnot. So there's some opportunities that we can open in that aspect as well. And he makes also some of the best food that you can have in New Jersey as well. His hands are blessed. Wifey and I try to at least once a week come
Yeah,
through
man.
and visit. But in any case, as we're coming to the end of this first of many features, any final remarks for anybody who may be going through some things, whether it's grief, whether it's struggle, whether it's mental health, any of the areas that we've kind of discussed, and then based on your journey, anything that you want to advise
Oh,
anybody that's out there.
some of the best advice I ever got was, it's okay not to be okay. You know, and with that being said, it's like you don't have to be strong all the time. You can always lean on somebody, and then that's what we go on through life. Always find that good support system. And we always say it takes a village to raise people.
Yeah.
Lean on that village. Lean on some people. It's not that hard. People will be there for you because you're there for them so
Mm-hmm.
much. You know, and that's really the main thing. Is no matter what you're going through, there's always someone that's willing to talk to you. You know, and not only that, also be grateful.
Yeah.
That's another thing. A lot of people don't be grateful. Like you said in one of the classes, I felt bad for the man with no shoes until I met the man with no feet. You know, and then you see these things and you start to actually realize how grateful,
Yeah.
and how much things are, how much we take for granted, man.
Yeah.
Like air, the air that we breathe. I learned that from Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley put out there, which is a wild NBA player, people would say, but he was like, I'm grateful for air because God gave us air,
Mm-hmm.
and without air, we'd have 5 minutes tops. Without
That's
air.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. We take it for granted. Like here we are breathing, and yeah. It's well, listen, man. Let me just say, I'm grateful. I know this was impromptu. What was it, Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday. I was like, hey, what are you doing this week? Come up. We gotta do an episode. He's like, yeah. I'm like, no. Not I'll let you know. Like, look now. He's like, probably Wednesday. I'm like, good. Put it in your calendar. I'm gonna be there, and I knew that your story was impactful. I privileged that I get to watch firsthand how your transformation is happening and continue to happen.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you connect with the social media handles that is in the description of this episode, so you can connect with Jacob as his career, whether it's political science or computer science, and his new website is being created and built to the last pieces that are needed to help anybody in mental health in general, but military men and women who we are very, very grateful for. But definitely make sure that you connect, or you may just need a little bit of a positive touch from somebody that I know for a fact has gone from humble beginnings, if you will, seen struggle, experienced loss and grief, to finding just a happy place of where he is right now. A huge shout out and kudos to you, the listener, the viewer. Huge shout out to our Chief Technology Officer, Tanya Tanika, our COO, Claudia Maritza, for everything that you do, and for all of our team behind the scene, the editing team, the production team, for everything that you do. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. And for you, if you are ready to elevate any area of your business and you need a little bit of a branding boost, remember, we place you on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible.com, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, CW, and many, many, many platforms. So when somebody wants to do business with you and they Google to see, is he or she really as legit, they actually find third-party validations, and you deserve to be on the best that there is. My name is Ali Madawi. This is the ME Show. Until next time, peace out, everybody.
Peace.
At ME Studios, we don't just create campaigns, we build brands. Our mission is to transform your ideas into a compelling experience that resonates with your audience and elevates your brand identity. Hey there! Ever dreamt of launching your own branding campaign, but overwhelmed by all the moving parts? From concept to execution, the process can seem daunting. But don't worry, we've got you covered. Look no further. Welcome to ME Studios, your one-stop shop for all things branding. Imagine this, a place where creativity meets technology, and your branding dreams come to life. We start with pre-production. Our expert team dives into creative concept meetings, curates top-tier guests, and even puts together stunning headshots. We help you shape your vision and plan every detail meticulously. We even throw in AI-powered commercials to give you that extra edge. These commercials are designed to seamlessly integrate with your content, making your campaign not just informative, but also commercially viable. Next up, production. Picture yourself in a state-of-the-art studio with professional lighting, high-quality mics, and an inspiring atmosphere. Our studios are equipped with the latest technology to ensure your sessions are smooth and productive. We create power-packed segments split into 3 engaging parts, 15 minutes each, designed to captivate your audience. Our team ensures that each segment is filled with valuable content and keeps your audience hooked. Now, let's talk post-production. Our team meticulously edits your content, adding branded intros and outros, custom music, and flawless transitions. We take care of all the technical details so you can focus on delivering your message. We make sure your message shines brighter than ever. Our goal is to enhance your voice and make your campaign stand out in a crowded market. Finally, it's time to launch. We distribute your polished campaign across all major platforms, ensuring your campaign reaches the widest possible audience. But that's not all. We create viral reels, issue a national press release, and ensure your campaign gets the attention it deserves. Our marketing strategies are designed to maximize your reach and engagement. At ME Studios, we bring your vision to life. Our dedicated team works tirelessly to ensure your campaign is a true reflection of your brand and resonates with your audience. Your campaign, your brand, done right. We take pride in delivering high-quality, professional campaigns that make a lasting impact. Ready to make your mark? Visit themestudios.net and book your launch today. Our team is excited to help you start your branding journey. Thanks for watching, and let's get your voice out there. Together, we can create something truly special.